So if you catch yourself feeling post-Christmas depression, remember that as late as the early 16th century, the Old World style calendar had Christmas lasting for 12 days, recognized from the 25th of December to about the 6th of January. In fact, it was after December 25th that many recognized the first documented English Christmas out here in the Chesapeake Bay. By extension, the first documented Christmas in America. So the people of the Jamestown settlement in mid-December were starving, as they had come accustomed to doing so. John Smith took several men up the St. James River looking for food and provisions for his men. As he rounded the St. James River, captured by the native leader Opashankano, these were people of the Powhatan Confederacy. Opashankano was the little brother or possibly cousin of Chief Powhatan, who didn't love the settlers but didn't necessarily hate them quite yet. The captors wanted to bring John Smith and his men before the chief himself, and it was this journey bouncing among different tribes in the Powhatan Confederacy on their way to see the chief, where all the men got stuck in the village of Kecoughtan, where John Smith describes having the best Christmas he ever had. He writes in his journal that never were his men more happy or merry, as well fed with their feast of shellfish and bread and seafood, and never were they as warm as they were on Christmas in their cozy huts among the large Kecoughtan fires. Now the settlers spent about 7 days there before they were finally brought before Chief Powhatan, and this is where the famous interaction happens between Chief Powhatan's daughter Pocahontas and John Smith, where it's said that the chief wanted to bash out John Smith's brain and Pocahontas stepped in to save his life. Whether that's fact or fiction, what we do know is that John Smith ended up getting all the provisions and food that he needed, and him and his men were eventually released without issue. Opashankano, who remember was the one that actually captured John Smith, would later become the chief of the Powhatan Confederacy himself, and would be the chief organizer of the Great Indian Massacre of 1622, where under the guise of wanting to trade, him and his fellow tribesmen entered Jamestown settlement and then viciously killed about half the colonists there. This was the beginning of one of many wars that would take place between the settlers and natives, the Chesapeake Bay region. A long story just to say that if you want to celebrate Christmas after December 25th, you have the historical right to do so.